no.
That girl said, a little baby said, go wash yourself. Go take that shower before you send me in for my bath. You go take yours first.
Who do I believe the punch? The punch in the face? Like literally, you can't punch somebody. But what is the analogy? What the analogy is you can't do two different. What was the punch? The punch is you doing exactly what you're sorry about. Hating going to the funeral or making those kinds of decisions. Wait, but Elaine, making me feel that way. He's not making you feel this way. He's not making you feel this way. He's deciding to do something. All he thinks is a point. Yeah, that is not the equivalent of punching you in the face. Perhaps the analogy is a little rough, but it's not only a little rough. It gives you a direct clue as to where these feelings come from. That's interesting.
That, lets us know there will be no sessions going forward.
If being bisexual has taught me nothing else, it has taught me that not only having sex with heterosexual men is a humiliation ritual, it's also like kind of an inherently violent act against women. And I'll tell you why. Give me a second. Men are willing to violate boundaries in a way that I find that women just simply are not. Men want total and whole access to your body. Otherwise, it means something for them. They want to be the one that you change your boundaries for. They, maybe even in the beginning, will be receptive to it, fine, kind, nice, understanding, but that's only in an attempt to gain access to the remainder of you eventually. And over time, they will push. They'll do it as a joke and say, oh, I forgot. Prime example, I had, and this is just one of hundreds, and no, I have not slept with hundreds of men, but I do have hundreds of examples, which should further my point. But I told a guy that I don't like when people put both of their hands around my neck. One hand is okay, two hands, not okay. Initially, it started out with just the one hand. Then later on into the relationship, it was like both hands. And then it was like, oh, I forgot. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, you're so sensitive. Why? I don't understand. Why can't I do it? And it was just pushing and pushing and pushing until he gained full access to me. Or, like I said, in an attempt to. But women, I communicate a boundary. The boundary's communicated. And then you just have sex for multiple hours. And no boundaries ever get crossed. Ever. And this is not like, oh, I'm coming out as a full lesbian. Like, this is not what this is. It's just an observation of how different these encounters actually are. From someone who's done the market research.
Woman in the comments says, I've been dating a man for about 6 months, basically. Treats me like a princess. Deals with my mental health issues like a champ. I used to be around men like you that do this type of stuff, and then I changed my type. Wonder how she's going to respond to that comment.
Overly freaked out. And let me say this. I'm okay with being openly sexual. There's not a problem with that. My problem is half of y'all only care about being overly freaked out when the unconventionally attractive. Like, we have Gene out here telling us the nooks, crooks, and crannies of what you be getting into, but the minute someone who's unconventionally attractive, is that even a word? I can't confirm it is a word, but back to what I was saying, the minute he's unconventionally attractive, he get a little play, get a little booty, he's overly freaked out. Who taught him to be like that? Like, where's his self-respect? Come on, y'all.
Maybe I'm just not the guy I think I am. I don't be under. How y'all be getting like special delivery flower bouquets? Y'all be getting trips. Y'all be getting handwritten. I can barely get a triple dipper. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I just not that guy? Am I just not that guy?
I've gotten delivered bouquets, handwritten notes, and small trips. But the people, that's not funny. The people that did it, I'm not laughing at that. The people that did it either love bombed me and left when I was in love or cheated on me. So it really means nothing. So at the end of the day, you really got to look at that character, sis.
Could you imagine if this was a man doing this? Like, not only would he be completely destroyed in the comments, he would probably lose his job, all his friends, lose his family. He'd probably be in jail for not only the physical violence, but allowing his children to see it. But what bothers me personally the most is even beyond that, it's the fact that it's allowed on social media platforms. We all know that if it was a man doing this, that it wouldn't be up anymore. It would have been taken down for violation of community guidelines.
Well, we don't really have to imagine because those men are in jail. So there's that.
This dude said he met this girl off of TikTok or whatever. He said she was a real pretty girl. She lived in Memphis. He lived in Mississippi. She said that she didn't have her license, so she couldn't drive from Memphis to Mississippi. So he offered to go pick her ass up. So he said he went to pick her up or whatever, took her out for breakfast. You know, shit was going good. So he ended up taking her back to his house on the first day. She gets there, she's like, oh, my stomach hurt. So she was like, oh, can I go use the bathroom? So he was like, yeah, cool, go use the bathroom. Then she was like, oh, can I take a shower? He said, yeah, go take a shower. So I guess he was gonna give her a t-shirt to walk around in. So while she in the shower, her purse is sitting on the dresser drawer. So on the dresser drawer, there was a fan. The fan was vibrating. So I guess it was vibrating hard as hell because it ended up knocking her purse on the ground. He said the purse ended up falling on the ground and all her fell out her purse. So he seen some pills that said, hi, it's Vicky. Now y'all put the abbreviations together. So the girl comes out the bathroom and he was like, he left everything there so she could see that everything fell out. He wanted her to know, like, hey, I seen the meds on the ground. So he was like, when was you gonna tell me about this? The girl was like, why would I tell you about it? You didn't ask me. So the man goes and say, y'all need to be careful. What do you mean y'all need to be careful? Sir, you are old enough to be somebody's grandpa. And you're telling somebody to be careful. Baby, you should have enough wisdom at that age. So apparently he said that the girl and her friends be looking for like older men to like, you know, wine and dine them. Then dude was like, what if I was gonna go in just like no protection or nothing? And she was like, well, you never asked, so I wasn't gonna tell you. Sir, this says a lot about you. It's giving thirsty. Don't put it off on her. You picked a woman that you met on TikTok on the first day up. You didn't know nothing about this lady, but you invited this lady to your house. You lucky God was looking out for you. You lucky that fan knocked that bag down on the ground and her meds fell out.
The fact that you're walking around with a disease that's intimately transmittable, you're taking medicine for it, and you didn't say anything. Somebody in the comments was like, what the F are you saying? She almost committed a whole felony. What are you talking about? Exactly. Be accountable. You have something like that going on and you're actually taking medicine for it, regardless of if you were taking medicine or not. The only way he found out was that the stuff dropped out of your purse. Obviously, and for sure, we got to give him at least half of the responsibility to say, hey man, watch out who you sticking your stuff inside. But the fact that she was about to let it go through is crazy work.
Hypothetically speaking, right? This is all hypothetical. This is hypothetical. If I were to tell y'all that I met a man in the club on Friday and then I stayed at his house Friday night, and then Friday morning, he went to work at 6 o'clock in the morning and he left me in his house hypothetically. And he came back at 11 o'clock in the morning and we had ate, and then I left and then I came back the next night hypothetically. But the next night we went to another club and then I went back home with him that night too. And then that morning when I woke up, he had made me breakfast, right? So now I feel like I'm low-key in love type. And then I stayed another night, right? And now I'm just like delusional, or not even delusional. Now I'm just like, I really, 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 really like this boy, and I'll cut off all my for him like I already cut off my ex. Would, hypothetically speaking, if that were to happen, would y'all call me delusional? Hypothetically speaking, because I'm not gonna lie. This is all hypothetical, but I feel like hypothetically speaking, I was trapped off the breakfast. Hypothetically speaking, though.
You already cut off your ex? Bro, I'm telling you right now, give her some space. Give her some space.
You know what? I just had a thought come over my mind, right? I've seen so many videos of girls talking about how dudes ain't This thought just crossed my mind. What if the girls are lying? What if there aren't as many deadbeats as the women claim it is? What if the girls have so much power in the child support system that they control the narrative and say the dudes are deadbeats. To my knowledge, the custody of a kid usually automatically goes to the mama. No matter how good or bad the mom is, the kid always goes to the mom. You know how much power that is right there? You can essentially, even if you're not that smart, you have instant control over the situation. So therefore, what if the girls are lying? What if the vast majority of girls are just making up so that they can keep control of that kid so then they can make that dad's life miserable? What if that's happening more times than we want to think is happening? What if all these dudes want to be a part of their kid's life and the girl, like you can essentially, once you have leverage over your kid, you can essentially tell you, if you control how much access that dad has based on however you feel about this dude, because you know people have regrets after they have kids, right? So they can control how the dad feels. They can control the amount of time the dad sees the kid. And so what happens? The dad gets like frustrated, like, wow, this is equally my kid too. Why? How is she going to tell me how much time I can see my kid? How is she going to tell me when and when I can't see my kid? You see what I'm saying? That'll drive somebody crazy to the point where they kind of just give up. They're like, man, I'm not about to let this girl control me like that. For what? I'm a grown ass man. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't even have no dog in this fight because I don't have any kids because I'm kids. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, what if this is the case? What if the girls have too much power? It's just a theory. Because I've seen this happen to a couple of my friends, where the girl had custody and the dude had to fight for months, spend all this money and fight for months, for years to get custody. Shouldn't everybody, if two people create a kid, shouldn't they just off the rip have equal custody of the kid? And I know, I'm not saying all dudes is great. I know some dudes just had a kid to keep the girl around, just like some girls had a kid to keep the dude around. So that argument cancels each other out. Some people have kids too fast and they realize the person's a terrible partner. Hey, regardless of whether they're a terrible partner, still the kid's daddy. So you shouldn't have power over him to pick and choose when the kid can see him. Just because you don't mean that you get to choose when his time is valuable or not. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. Like I said, I ain't got no kids, but I'm just saying.
Deadbeats according to their standards. Deadbeats because they don't pay all of their bills and his bills. Deadbeats because they don't pay $10,000 a month in child support and the woman actually has to work.
I prefer not to be filmed, thank you.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't walk up to a camera guy.
Alrighty, well, sir, I will call the police if I have to. I have people complaining. It's illegal to...
No, it's not. And go ahead and please call them, because I'd like you to be educated, because I'm working on an educational video. So if you call them, they will come and educate you.
Alright, someone's on their way, so you can talk to them.
Actually, they're not going to talk to me at all. They'll just talk to you.
Alright.
Let me ask you a question.
No.
What makes you think that you can tell somebody on a public sidewalk what to do?
I'm sorry?
What makes you think that that you can tell anybody on a public sidewalk what to do?
I do my job, thank you. Because it's not, as long as it's on the sidewalk, it's considered public property. Okay.
Everything that here is in plain view.
Right.
So, like I said, everybody's out here in plain view, so there's no suspicion of problem. You have a good day. Have a good weekend. If you need anything else, let us know.
Sure.
All right,
thank you,
take
guys.
care.
See, now, what did I tell you? I told you if you called the police, they're going to talk to you. And
He's weird now. You're in his face, but he's weird.
So obviously dating's really hard, but can we talk about how much harder it is when you have a really stressful and time-consuming job? It's low-key hilarious, the kinds of questions I get now on dates as a founder versus when I was in a more traditional corporate job, especially since I used to work in the alcohol industry, more specifically beer. So guys just would always assume like, she's such a chill girl. Truly could not be less chill, my guy. Before it was very much like, oh, she's cool, she has a career, awesome. But now as a founder, the questions I get are a lot more, and even on first dates, a lot more of the questions I get are like, do you have time for dating? Which that happened to me. This is about a year ago. I was on a first date with this guy. Maybe it was 20, 30 minutes in. And he's like, mentioned how he used to work at a startup. He's like, they don't have time for anything. How do you have time for dating? And I was like, well, I'm here. Am I not? Like, I'm a big believer, you make time for the things you want to do. All have busy lives, no matter if you're in a position of power or not, or have a really stressful job or not. we all have things that we could do instead, and yet we choose to put time into things we care about. Don't get me wrong, obviously it's not all guys. There's guys who really love women, that are very career driven and have a very intense job. But I think overall, we don't see that dynamic as much as we see it the other way around, where, you know, oh, I have a boyfriend in private equity. I don't know, I'm making it up. Oh, he works all the time, or investment banking. He's working late nights. And we, as women, usually are like, wow, that's so great. Respect his job, respect his career, and the time that's taken away from our relationship for that. Versus when it's flipped, you don't really see that for women. A lot of the guys start questioning like, well, do you have time for me? When are you gonna, you know, do X, Y, Z? Or when are we gonna be able to do this or do that? Where I'm like, if it was flipped, you wouldn't be asking these questions. Or if you had to be the one that had to take more time for your career or for whatever it was for your job, you would be asking me to be understanding. I'm sure it's the same as women who are doctors and engineers and scientists and whatever. Like, I'm just throwing careers out there, but there are a lot of stressful jobs out there that are very time consuming, and a lot of women now more than ever that are career driven. So why are we not seeing that same respect the other way? It just is something that I've been thinking about and honestly a little bit frustrated with in the dating world.
Yeah, I guess you do make time for the things that you love. And women nowadays are prioritizing careers, making them the things that they love. And men get left on the back burner while they spend their money on these women. It's gonna be a no for me.
Men really impress me every single time. I told this guy it's better off to live things this way. I was just not feeling him. He turned on banish mode and made the messages disappear and texted me saying, "So when can I see you?"
Man, I feel lied to by the culture. But I'm gonna take full responsibility there, man. I fell for it. I fell for the boss, the, like, I could do everything by myself, that hyper independent. And I'm 31 now, and I still don't have kids. I still don't have a family.
These women use their 20s and they waste them, and they are promiscuous, and they, you know, oh, I got to make my money and all this stuff. And then they do wake up at 31 is even a little young. Sometimes it takes to 35, and they are devastated, completely devastated. Even if they have money, they are devastated. So, it doesn't matter to me whether it's genuine, because this is the pattern that is real that's unfolding.
You anyways, you're not my Hey, I like your bike.
I'm sorry, what?
They said I like your bike.
Oh, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I do not. Why?
Oh, I was just wondering if I could get your number.
I don't really give out my number like that. Especially, I've never met you before. You got my Instagram?
I don't have Instagram.
You don't have Instagram?
No.
What, Snapchat?
I don't have that either. I don't really do the whole social media thing.
Ah, you're one of those girls.
I guess.
I don't know. I just don't give out my number like that.
Why not? You not think I'm cute?
To be honest, I don't want to be mean, but you're not really my type, no?
You anyways, you're not my type.
I can't believe I just got that on video.
So the ladies' favorite word for men today are narcissist. Narcissist is the trending word. No matter what the argument is, the men are narcissists. So I, being the investigative content creator that I am, baby, I went and looked up the word narcissist because I wanted to get a true definition. And I seen this image pop up. Behaviors of a narcissist. Lack of empathy for others. Has a strong desire for attention and admiration from others. Consistently has problematic relationships and has inflated sense of self-worth or importance. Wait a minute now. Isn't it always the women online complaining about how none of their relationships are working? Because it's the men. But the men be in relationships sometimes and they be happy, but y'all don't. That sounds like constantly being in problematic relationships. And then the overinflated self-worth. Everybody's a 10. Nobody's average because I'm a 10, right? And then on the other side, not having empathy for others. Girl, I'm gonna do what I want to do because this is my life to live. It don't matter if it hurt him, F them kids. Y'all see strangers struggling and don't care, right? And it is mostly women that be online half naked, acting a fool for what? Likes and views or admiration and attention. If the men are narcissists, how is it that the ladies are fitting these descriptive words so well? Why is it that these behaviors are found in so many women if the men are the narcissists? I'm trying to figure it out.
I just love seeing those videos about women complaining about men not approaching them when they're out, because like, it's so disingenuous. It's insane. Cause it's like, if you look at the history of between like men and women, like you cannot convince me that men leaving women alone is a bad thing. And it's so disingenuous because like if they actually wanted a community, they would probably just go talk to other women, right? Or if they actually wanted to interact with men or actually liked men, they would just go talk to them. They don't actually like men. They just subscribe to the patriarchy, so they need men to come up to them to like confirm their beauty. It's honestly kind of sad. Now, I understand like, you know, people staring at you, that's annoying, but it's not just that. It's the, oh, these people are staring and they're not approaching. Like, it'd be different if it was like, I hate when people stare at me, I just wish they would stop staring. But it's not. It's the follow through of not approaching that they're actually mad about, which is, it's just really kind of sad because it's like, I literally see like women saying like, oh my gosh, like, it literally makes me cry. Like, I got ready for 2 hours for like no mental approach. It's like, bro, like, patriarchy really done a number, right?
Yo, I just tried to shoot my shot at that man. I pulled my window down and said, how you doing? He said, how you doing? You alright? And kept walking. Never to forget. Like, I don't see how y'all do it. I feel humiliated.
Okay, so I'm in Walmart and I believe that I am being followed by that guy right there. So we're gonna go and see if he keeps following me. It's really simple. So let's see, because he was just on every aisle that I was on, and it could just be me being paranoid, you know what I'm saying, like as a woman just like tripping, whatever. But so we're gonna go to another section and then see if he's still there. Oh, excuse me. See if he's still there. And the section that I'm about to go into is pretty girly. So if he does end up over there, then that's kind of gonna tell me everything that I need to know. So let's go see. Okay, so I just saw him. He's right there. He was headed this way, but then he saw me see him, and so now he's headed back the other way. So yeah, I think I definitely confirmed that I'm being followed. This is so strange. And yeah, y'all pray for me because people are freaking weird and you never know what their issue is. So yeah, pray for me. Actually, I'm gonna stay at the beginning of these aisles where it's pretty bright and not too ducked off, even though nobody is really back here but me. If he ends up back here, I know for sure he's following me, even though I know for a fact he's following me now because he just tried to come back here until he saw that I saw him, and then I started recording. So this is so creepy.
It didn't prove anything. I was in the store the other day, passed an old woman up in the store. She ended up being a widow because we had a conversation that she actually started with me. I passed her like 3 or 4 times before she came over and said, "You look lost." Yes, ma'am, I'm looking for some stuff and I can't find it. I've been using this app, trying to find this. I can't find it. Well, let me see if I can help you. Okay. And then we ended up having a conversation. What are you doing this weekend? What do you have going on? Well, you know, I'm going out with my family over here. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a good day. Here's what's going on with me. It's just a conversation. That's it. Oh, if he goes down the girly aisle, then I'll know. My wife has stuff in the girly aisle. So naturally, I would be down there. And when I've gone down there before, there have been a few other men in that aisle looking clueless and lost, just like me, trying to make sure that they get the right thing. I go all over the store looking for stuff. And sometimes I, in fact, run into the same person 3 or 4 times on a regular basis, actually. because I guess we're looking at the same things and we're looking for the same things in the same general area. As a matter of fact, just the other night, actually, 2 nights ago, I ran into the same person 2 times, 3 times actually. She went down, I think, the aisle with deodorant or soap. I needed deodorant. I think I actually needed soap. And she was down there somewhere. I don't know what she was looking at. She went on another aisle that had the toothpaste and the mouthwash. She was down there looking at something. I needed mouthwash. Happened to be on the same row. It's not about you. I'm not trying to disrespect your experiences or say that they don't happen, but sometimes it's not about you.
You know why they don't want you to speak to them in public? It's because they live their whole life in this phone. This is where reality exists for them. This is where their interaction makes sense to them. Because when they out there in public, out there in the real world, they don't consider that the real world. So why are you speaking to them? They rather you speak to them on here. Because those same people who don't want to be told hello in the grocery store, they want everybody to come in their live and say hey to them though. They want everybody to view their post. They want everybody to like their post. We've become a society that no longer appreciates human interaction in person. We've become a society that feels uncomfortable speaking to people in person. They rather text or talk on the phone, which is sad. It's very sad. But hey, that's just how I feel about it. I don't feel like it's a specific disgust they have with those men or nothing. No, they live their life through phone. This is the only place they feel comfortable at, talking on the phone. So anytime somebody speaks to them in public, they're not in their comfort zone. So they rather you talk to them over the phone. They rather be approached on their phone. It's technology that ruined it.
You know why modern dating sucks right now? It's because it feels like there's 1,000 amazing women for every one good eligible man. And let me tell you that this is proven on TikTok, because you know those TikToks where people are posting their friends or their family member, their single male friends, and saying like, he's single, here's his great qualifications. And there are thousands of women fighting for their lives in the comments, okay? If he's tall and he has a mustache, I'm in those comments, obviously. And here's the problem. There's not lines for these great women in the world. Great women in the past, in history. Now, history was not amazing, and I don't want to rewrite history. I'm not a boomer, okay? But why were there men lining up? Because women were amazing, great, beautiful things worth writing poetry about. But yet, women are now fighting for their lives, saying that they've never been asked on a date before on TikTok. And in the comment section being like, there's no men like this in my area, where are they? And they're all lining up for one eligible man on TikTok. No, this cannot be how it is. We got to recalibrate.
It's probably because within the same video of the woman calling herself great, she disqualifies herself. She disqualifies herself with foolishness. I'm a great woman. I'm beautiful. I'm smart. I'm educated. Great. Fantastic. I mean, I like a high maintenance lifestyle. And if you don't like that, then stay away. Whoop. Boom. Slice with half the competition. Oh man, I like my man to be 6 foot tall. Boom. Another part of the hot population. Oh, the man's got to have a 6-pack. Okay. I mean, instead of saying fit, he's got to have a 6-pack. Boom. Another part of the population. Oh, I want my man to make 6 figures. Boom. Another population. Oh, I want my man to have at least a master's degree. Boom. Another part of the population. Your chances of finding a man have just slimmed astronomically. And the only man that y'all seem to want that has all that stuff ain't checking for you. Not checking for you. You are ruining your chances of finding somebody. Round of applause for foolishness.
Women would take over the world in 1 second if we said no more until you give us power, but that will never happen because it will require all women to come together and have each other's backs in a system that's designed to tear us apart. Who said that?
This would work, except that you guys just can't do certain things. You literally can't. Y'all can use that little thing as a tool of manipulation until you get hungry. And then the real hunters got to come out until you need something done and you just don't have the strength to do it. And then the dudes with their strength got to come out. And then what you're going to give in exchange for it? Bare minimum. No money, no nothing. At the end of it, at the bottom line, what are we going to be exchanging? What are we going to be exchanging? Exactly. You said that. I watched you say that. So we don't got to wonder who's going to say it. You said it. And it was very silly and short-sighted, as a lot of modern women are. Somebody in the comments says, say it louder for the people in the back. I'm tired of screaming. Bring the people who need to hear common sense up to the front, so I ain't got to repeat myself.
When did we get to this mindset of men doing the bare minimum is doing a lot or doing too much? You know, opening a car door for a woman, that's not doing too much. That's literally the bare minimum. You should do that. You should want to open the door for your woman. Like, I feel like that's a requirement, if you ask me. Like, that's a requirement. And some men would make it seem like that's such a big deal. Like, oh, you can't just open the door yourself, or, you know, that's just a lot to be doing. Excuse me? But then those are the same men that turn around and say, I want to be treated like a king. But do you treat your woman like a queen? Because if I'm not getting queen treatment, why would I dare give you king treatment? That makes no sense. You don't even want to do the bare minimum. Like, make it make sense.
The funny thing is, most of these are requirements for men to do. But it seems oddly weird that women never seem to have any requirements. All of the stuff that they need to do is optional. How does that work?
Saying that you only date women that are 15 to 20 years younger than you is a really weird way of saying that grown adult women your own age don't want you. When you say things like that, people don't look at you like, oh man, he's so cool, he's getting such young girls. They look at you like, ugh, that's all you can pull? Because I assure you that the young women that are dating you aren't thinking, oh, this is a great man, this is the man I want to spend my life with. They're thinking, yeah, whatever, this will do for now. They're just trying you on the way they try on fast fashion. They don't like you for you, they like you for what you can do for them.
This is such cope by an obviously 30-something or 40-something year old woman who needs the men who are her age to date her, but she's noticing they want to date younger. And the analogy she uses is so terrible because she's basically saying if a guy says, hey, I only want to buy a new car, the reason he's saying that is because older cars he doesn't qualify for. That sounds absolutely ridiculous. And the same women who complain about age gap dating in their 30s and 40s were just fine with it when they were the young hot thing in their 20s dating older men. And it's somewhere around 30, 35 when women start to notice men their same age are dating younger. Now all of a sudden they're on the opposite side of the fence, and this is terrible and this is predatory and all of the shaming language they try to use. But shaming doesn't work the same way with men as it does for women, so this won't work.
His dude says, if two cars cost the same price except one has miles, which one would you buy? Another dude said, yeah, older cars been driven hard and too many folks have driven it. My 2 cents. Another dude says, not the money mill retired fun looking syndrome. These guys are brutal, man.
I flew all the way down to Miami to meet a man, and he was supposed to pick me up when I got here. I am walking out right now, and I'm having a little PTSD, because if you've been around before, I was dating a man previously who I flew down to see, and then he was completely MIA, never heard from him, and I just waited outside, feeling like an idiot, for like an hour. And then he said it was because he fell asleep. Because I was like, do I get on a plane to go back home? Like, I've come down here, but I haven't, like, I came to see you. Like, we planned this whole thing. I'm like, yeah, he said he fell asleep. But anyway, so now I'm standing outside, and I just got off of the flight, and I am looking to see if this man is here because I'm already feeling the PTSD deja vu of being stranded. I also, oh my gosh, okay. This is both good and bad news. I was at departures and they were at arrivals. Whoops. So, okay, we're running down now. He's like, I've been here, I'm waiting for you. Like, are you gonna come anytime?
Why you keep on flying down to see your man? Her profile here says travel and lifestyle. That's why she keeps on flying down, for the lifestyle. These men are probably promising her lifestyle. So if I got to fly to get it, if I got to fly to go out for a nice dinner and be treated fantastically, I'll do it. Down to Miami in the summertime to be on the beach? And man gonna pay for it? I'm there. And not only her, many other women.
We are the men now, and we don't need men in our lives. There's a reason women say that if they had children, they would want to be the dad and not the mom. Women relied on men as a means of survival because they couldn't open up their own lines of credit. They couldn't have their own checking accounts. And now we don't need that. We are going to school. We are outpacing men in college degrees. We are outpacing men in workforce participation. We are outpacing men in home ownership. We are the men now. And we don't need men in our lives unless they are adding to it. Most men are depleting women in relationships. Gone are the days of men simply needing a decent, well-paying job and health insurance to land and keep a wife. Those days are gone because women provide those things for themselves. And men don't have anything else to offer anymore outside of that because that's what they were taught. That's all they have to provide. And now that is no longer enough.
Okay, so I want to put my argument out here because we keep on talking about buying a home and, you know, providing for the home and stuff like that is bare minimum. But I think buying a house in any decade is never bare minimum, okay? So when we're buying a home, you still have, it's still a major financial milestone. And you have stagnant wages, housing prices have gone up, you have rising interest rates, you have crushing student debt, right? So those things need to come into factor. When you don't have this, you don't have that. So it might be the case that women are actually buying more homes, but I don't think that would be necessarily an indicator of you're automatically doing better, if that makes any sense. I think women sometimes have a higher risk tolerance. They're willing to take on larger burdens of debt. They have a desire for independence, which is good sometimes, but it does come at a price. A lot of times men are cautious about the things that they purchase. So it could be financial planning. I don't think I'm ready for that, so I'm not going to take that on, right? That's risk aversion. Economic stability. Once again, I don't think I'm ready to take that on. You could look at a desire to avoid financial ruin, which could include foreclosure, it could include bankruptcy, it could include avoiding student loans and things of that nature, right? So a college degree is not necessarily, and you know, you're talking about a college degree, that's not necessarily going to mean that you're going to have financial security, right? You might be more educated, but we're looking at your education on paper, right? So you're going to carry more student debt. You, in a lot of different fields, have a lower median income. So your earning potential, let me not say your potential, but your earnings are lower, right? So that's going to come into play. And then women often face more aggressive marketing towards lifestyle spending. So, oh man, you need this car, you need to travel over here, you need to do this, you need to do that. Men, a lot of times, are not going to listen to that sort of stuff. Okay, so we have that women are outpacing men in college degrees, but women hold, and this is statistically speaking now, 2/3 of all student debt. Women earn about 83 cents to every dollar that a man makes. Okay, so when you look at home ownership, single women own more homes than single men, about 11% versus 8%, but that doesn't account for how leveraged those homes are, meaning your mortgage to your income, meaning your debt leverage or your debt levels, right? And then you have a foreclosure risk. It's higher in some cases for women due to a lower overall net wealth and higher debt to income ratio. So you have a higher risk of foreclosure. Okay, men tend to carry larger consumer debt. They're less likely to default on larger loans. They're less likely to jump into purchases for optics. Okay. So the fact that you're ignoring this, or you're following this cultural narrative that men aren't doing enough because they're not getting a degree or they're not a homeowner, while ignoring like the debt that you're going into, ignoring risk, ignoring economic climate, it's shallow. I think it's unfair to a lot of men, and I think it reduces the issue, the complexity of what it actually is. And it doesn't really take into account how a man sees things, which is the problem that men are having now, is that some of these women out here tend to see everything through their lens. If it's not how they see it, then it's wrong, and a man needs to catch up. He's behind, which is, once again, another layer in marriages, and why men are like, man, I'm not getting married anymore. Because when I got married, my wife said, do this, and I did it, and she didn't like the way I did it. And then I said, okay, let me try to improve my job, which I improved my job. And then also, let me try to improve this at home. And I did, in fact, improve it. And she said I improved it, but it wasn't enough. It's never enough. It's always, we got to do this, you got to do that with certain types of women. And why would a man want to be a part of that? So I get where you're coming from, and I get what you're saying. But I think with all that education, you guys could sit down, do a simple Google search, think a little bit critically. I would say you can come up with a better argument next time.